As I mentioned in the video, this is going to be the least. Learning from own practice. Now, the entire strength of this program lies in the fact that you have a lot of practice sessions at each week. And I really hope that you go through each of them, because that's what the entire strength of this program is. And it could be in front of the mirror, or it could be just to yourself, which is fine. But practice is what will take you ahead in this particular each of the sections as it goes ahead. Learning from feedback. Now, when you practice in front of friends, family, or probably anybody around you, it's important to welcome feedback. Now, I particularly lay stress on this word welcome, because many times we expect a very positive feedback. But I've learned in my experience that we should welcome the negative feedback, and you should openly ask, please give me the constructive feedback, and they will give you. So it's up to you whether to accept it or not, because some may give it in a point of cynicism, or some may give it with very good intention, and you need to discern and discriminate and judge which is right and which is wrong, and accept whatever good it is for you, and keep improving on it. So learning from feedback is by far a very important aspect of the entire module. So each of the sections would have 3 resources. 2 lectures, which is one is a direct video, where I'll be talking about the particular movie which enhances or which adds to whatever I have spoken in the particular video. And the third is the document itself, a PDF which you can download and which you can use as a reference as you move ahead across the 5 weeks. So welcome one and again to Speakology, the art of speaking. Looking forward to see you week on week as we go on. At the end of each week, you have an option to video record your particular speech and put it in the link which I mentioned at the end of each PDF across. And at the end of the 5th speech, of course, you'll get a constructive evaluation. It's possible at the end of every speech, I would give some comments, or I would try to take out time and at least watch a couple of them in between. So continue the practice of trying to video record and upload the speeches. That will give a more diverse feedback. As I said, we should be open to feedback.
So good. I think this was just a basic start, and I had created this for a completely online course. But now it's a combination of, we're also doing something on Zoom. So the first lesson is, the way we speak. It has to be very natural. If you watch, and in fact, we all know about, since now we're all in heartfulness. One of the first things, which Daji has been telling is about the principles of communication. The way we communicate has to be like a flow. The 3-page article, the flow has to come, and you have to just feel the flow going through. So that's the first critical thing that we need to take care of when we speak anywhere, one-to-one, one-to-group, or one-to-public. The flow from behind us, has to come in, and it has to seep in. That creates a naturalness, and that creates, some sort of, a very strong bond, a connection between you and the person or the people or the group ahead of us, whatever we do. Second is, we're going to have, every speech has to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So that's very important. Introduction, body, conclusion. It should not be directly a body or directly a conclusion. The plane has to first be on the ground, take off, and then land. Okay, plane has to take off on the ground, and then in the air, body, and then landing. Landing is very critical. Many times we don't land the plane, so we're stuck in midair, and we just let go. So that's a common mistake, and we will try to, do this, practice as we go on. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take one topic each, simple topics to start with, and then we go on to more complex topics. So how do you want to do it? Yeah. So so I have a basket of topics with me. Let me just open it. and we're going to choose share screen. So do you see what I see? Put a thumbs up if you see what I see. I muted all of you. Thumbs up, okay. So choose any one topic. It could be vacation or friend or teacher or book or movies, etc. And take 2 or 3 minutes to structure your thoughts. If you want to write down, you can write down. And you're going to create a proper flow of at least 2 minutes. You have to actually create a flow and make it very interesting for the audience to understand it. You're going to look into the eyes of the audience as we speak, and take 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll go one by one. Sounds good? Yeah. So we'll just take a pause of 2 or 3 minutes. Choose any one. Very simple topics, but you have to make it sound interesting. It's not just my best friend's name is Pallavi. She lives in Hyderabad. Thank you. Not like that. It has to be full. Why she's your best friend? What is the incidents? It has to go properly, and then it has to go into a flow of the end also. So ready? Anybody?
Yes,
Pratik?
sir.
Okay, I'm just muting
Yes.
the. Yes, Pratik. Start off.
Okay. Hello again, everybody. The topic that I'm choosing is my favorite teacher. Uh, the person I'm talking about is my class 5 teacher, my class 5 class teacher. Her name was Sangeeta Dhal. You know, we all choose our favorite teachers based on their attitude towards us, based on their nature towards us. And for the very same reason I'm choosing her as my favorite teacher. She was my class 5 teacher, as I told you. She was a very calm and polite teacher. She never used to scold anybody. She never used to beat anybody. She was always very polite in nature, and everybody used to respect her. We got a feeling of motherhood. She was like a mother to me. But that's not the reason why she's my favorite teacher, actually. The reason why she's my favorite teacher is because of an incident that took place in class 5. I was not very good in studies. I was a very average student. So I was always afraid of failing examinations. Geography was particularly tough for me. So as it happened, I failed the half yearly examinations in geography. In all other subjects, I passed, but in geography, I failed. And I was devastated. I was thinking that how will I pass the finals if I cannot pass in the half yearlies? So she tried to console me. She called me. She called me up. She said, "What happened?" I was crying. I said, "Ma'am, I failed in my geography examination." She was not even my geography teacher. She was my English teacher. So she told me, "If you won't fail, how will you know what success is?" For me, at that time, it was not something very big. I was thinking she's saying something, yeah, and I have to listen. But now that I think about it, it was such a big thing that she told me. And for a person that qualified, it's not very tough, to have knowledge about class 5 geography. So she taught me, in spite of not being a geography teacher. She taught me so well that I scored 90 in geography when the final examinations came, and I was so happy. And that's the reason why she's my favorite. She used to teach us not just her subject, but various things about life that we don't usually get to learn in school. And that's why she's my favorite teacher. Thank you so much.
Oh, so pretty good, Pratik. So if you're okay, I just made a few comments on your on the talk. So shall I share it?
Yes, sir.
So the good points about your speech, you had a good introduction, body, conclusion, because you concluded also well. The reasons why you're a favorite teacher. You also had some attention grabbers. When you mentioned him, that's not the reason why she was favorite. The real reason, and then your attention, grabbed it. What you have to do, I felt, some of the corrections is in between. There were some ahs and ums. So what is ahs and ums is when you speak, it has to be a flow. All of your other people also listen. Vara and Prasanna and Soumya. So when you speak, it has to be. You understand? Okay. So when you
Yeah,
breaks in between. So when you
there
speak,
should not be stutters. You mean there should not be any stutters in between,
it
right?
has to be like a water flowing. It cannot be
Yeah.
like water. So this actually the audience gets very jarred when you start, doing water. But you're doing it well. In between, it was there, and then it
Hmm.
vanished.
Yeah.
And the only way you can crack it is by speaking slowly. The second point, which I felt I noted on. I'm not sure what it was. I'm seeing well. Sometimes you are kind of rocking back and forth. I'm not sure why. Maybe you're sitting there, but anyway, we'll ignore that. And we'll take it up in the next time. Okay. So good, but
Yes, sir.
you cracked it, and we'll go on to the next candidate. And the next candidate is my list is Varalakshmi. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Go for it, Vara.
Um, so I'm taking the topic my favorite vacation. This vacation was when I was in fourth standard, and we went to Delhi. And this was the first flight journey of mine too. So when we went to the airport, I was first amazed when I saw all the checking of security checking and all. And then we had to take some stuff from our bags too because they are not allowed into the flight. And then when I got up into the flight, um, first there was actually all the buildings were actually very small, and then they slowly clouds came, and then I don't know, I was so excited that now when I see the video, I felt that I'm so crazy that time. And then after that we landed up in Delhi. In Delhi, we saw all the major parts of India, like the great monuments like Qutub Minar, Indian Gate, and Rashtrapati Bhavan and all. And then when I went into the hotel, there we had a separate room. I don't have an habit of going into hotels because Every time I go anywhere, we'll have a heartfulness center there, so we'll be there. So then, first time I was in the hotel too, when I was in fourth standard. And then the next day we had to go to Agra. In Agra, we went into the Taj Mahal and the Agra Fort. From there, we went to Babuji's place, Shahjahanpur. That time I didn't know much there, but then after that, when I see stories about Babuji and the place there, I again want to feel that I want to go there. Then we went to Satkol. There we spent so many days. We had friends. We made friends there. We are still in touch now too. And then from there we went. As Satkol was above the mountains in Himalayas, I enjoyed the greenery and everything. And after that, we had to go home. So again, we had to take flight from I don't remember properly, but then after we came to Delhi, from Delhi or Lucknow, I don't remember. From there, we came to Hyderabad by train, and we had so many days in train. Like we had to spend days in train. I never had that experience, but it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, really good. I think Varalakshmi really cracked it well. So some of the good points was you went in a good sequence. It's called the time sequence. You took the listeners, like myself, Pratik, Soumya. You took us to a sequence of Delhi, Agra, Shahjahanpur, Satkol. You took us through the journey, which was very good. What you could have done is at the start when you introduce, you just mentioned that I took my first trip to Delhi.
Right.
But actually, it was not only Delhi. So it was actually a big trip. So, friends, my name is Varakshmi, and today I'd like to talk to you about what a very beautiful 20-day trip or 15-day trip I had of North India, which included multiple cities. Now, when I'm hearing this, I realize that it's not just Delhi. It is going to be many cities. So I'm prepared for it. Because when you suddenly mentioned Agra, I said, oh, Delhi to Agra, okay. Then Agra, oh, Shahjahanpur. So it was going on. So you have to create a base that I'm going to talk to you about a large trip so that people are ready. Okay. So then when you mentioned Delhi, fine. Delhi was the first. And you introduced it really well. I liked the fact that you find a lot of things, hotel, room, and monuments, you spoke, etc. And various things. And then of course Agra and then whatever, Shahjahanpur and all. Couple of words unconsciously you're using again. Like, the first is a pair of words called and then. And then I took a flight, and then I went to the hotel room, and then we went. So that and then was a continuous repetition, which somehow catches the eye. The second pair you're using is and all. We went this and all. We went here and all and all. It was kind of judging. But apart from that, I think it was quite good. The end could have been a little more crisper. I think you were losing steam. The petrol was running out at the end because you finished the coal and then you were just wondering how to finish it off, the whole thing. So this was a beautiful bunch of memories. You would agree, all of you listeners, a beautiful bunch of memories, unforgettable in my lifetime, which I had through the journey from Delhi to Satkol. And we ended this with a unimaginable 2-day train travel in which also we did these particular activities before we came into Hyderabad along with my family. So this was an unforgettable event in my life. So you have to land the plane, however you do it. I'm just giving an example, getting into your shoes. The plane has to be landed somehow. You have to always remember how to push the plane down. Many times people fail because they just keep the plane in midair. You know, they just let it crash. So, but otherwise, great speech. I think, Vara, you're on target. So let's go to the. So, are you okay, Vara? Any thoughts, comments? That's it.
Yeah.
So we will go to the next on my list. Soumya, are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Hello, everyone, once again. the topic that I chose is my favorite teacher. When I was doing my B.Ed course in the year 2016, one teacher that was really, I cannot forget her, Dr. Archana Kapoor. I liked her a lot. The reason behind it is that she was one of the faculty in the B.Ed department, and there were 7 teachers over there. And she was the one who was the calmest of all. The other teachers were shouting and yelling at us for not making the good lesson plans and everything. And they want to make us a perfect teacher. But she was the one who did the same thing, but in a different way, in a more positive way. And she used to understand each one of us. She actually is the one, the backbone, or she is the role model who told us or who taught us how to teach others. And it's her tips and everything that I used when I became a teacher. And it was because of that, each and everyone in my school has appreciated me, and students have loved me because of this. So the whole credit goes to her, and I really wish that the other batches, the future generations who are going to receive education from her, they're going to benefit from all her teachings and tips. I really wish them all the best. And this is what I wanted to say, that she is my favorite. So yeah, thank you.
Good, Soumya. Thank you so much. And your favorite teacher is Dr. Archana, right? Whatever.
Dr. Archana Kapoor.
Yeah, I wrote it down. So it was quite good. I think you started off quite well, and you had a lot of thoughts around it. So my favorite teacher was Archana Kapoor, and she taught me some particular subjects in B.Ed, or etc., etc., etc. And you also gave her credit that a lot of your behavior traits are because of that particular Dr. Archana, etc. Perfect. Somewhere at the end, you mentioned, I mean, just at the end, So this is, what I have to say, kind of thing. That again is where you're fumbling for a conclusion. When you're landing the plane and the pilot does not know how to land, then that's where you make this. And that's kind of everything that I have to say, etc. So you have to be very firm in your conclusion. So these are the reasons why I can never forget Dr. Archana Kapoor, in my lifetime, and I'm indebted to her for a lot of learnings that she's taught me. Thank you. The conclusion has to be firm, and it should not be a very shabby conclusion, because people normally remember the conclusion and not the speech. So remember that it has to be very firm, and then you have to leave it. You have to be confident enough to leave it. So anyway, but it was quite good, very good. I liked your speech. And so any thoughts on your own speech, Soumya? All okay?
I just want to ask that how can the conclusion be better? How to end it? I have no thoughts. How to end that thing? So anything that particularly, if you can suggest that, how can I do it?
So when you're about to end it, and it could be, it could be either your favorite teacher in your case, or the favorite teacher of Pratik, or the trip to Delhi, Shahjahanpur of Varalakshmi, etc. When you're about to end it, you have to remember that you're ending it. I use the example of a pilot, because when the pilot is in the air and he has to land, he knows that he has to land. So he has to prepare for landing. So similarly, when you're ending, you have to somehow realize that my petrol is running out, and I need to kind of come to a conclusion. So you have to think of what to conclude. That's enough. You have to think, now how do I end this? How do I end this? A lot of times we don't think. We just go on, in the same flow, and then suddenly there's a dead end. So, like I made this end right now, as we spoke, So at this point of time, I really, have to say that, I'm really indebted to this particular lady for having unconsciously taught me everything. Now I put the word unconsciously at the last minute, because I'm pausing. I'm giving myself time to think. So your speech should be slower than your thoughts. I'll repeat again. Your thinking should be fast. Your speech should be slower. So when you're speaking, you're thinking faster. You're already thinking ahead. A lot of times, our speech is faster than our thoughts. So what happens is, you run out of words. When you speak slowly and purposefully, you can put a lot of adjectives, you can put a lot of flowery words, and you can body, speech, ending very easily. You can do it. Okay, so that's the trick around it. We'll have more practice sessions. Don't worry. And the fourth and my best is, let's see, I'm unmuted. Yes, Prasanna Lakshmi, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So I'm gonna tell you about my favorite color. It is green. I like the color from my childhood. Um, this is the color of the nature. It's a very beautiful color. Uh, I like this color because it signifies nature, and it is also a symbol of growth. Mm, um,
Okay, so that's it. Good speech, no problem. So, Prasanna, not to worry. It's your first, talk, and it's good you're doing it at a younger age, compared to the rest. So, hi, my name is Prasanna. My favorite color is green. Now I've given a pause. Okay. Now, as I'm giving a pause, I know the next word you're thinking of is nature, right? So, my favorite color is green. And guess what? I love green because it is the color of nature. Now, you've actually started off, on a note which is, people are now thinking, okay, why are you talking about green? It also signifies growth and various other things. So now you are kind of getting into the body and trying to understand why exactly green is your favorite color, etc. So, and then you go on talking about your various. I wear green. I have green earrings, green bangles, whatever you can. you can you can make whatever story around it, and go on extending various stories around why you like the color green. When I do a lot of painting, I notice I put a lot of green into my colors, whatever it is. You just make a story around it. Conclusion. I know you stopped at the conclusion, which is fine, no problem. So this actually is my favorite color. What about you? What's your favorite color? Okay, throw it back at the audience. You know, so you can end that way. So this was my favorite color. So I'm very keen to understand. What about you? What are your favorite colors? And you can even take names. So Pratik, Vara and Soumya. I'm very curious. What exactly are your favorite colors? And stop it there. You can make it very interactive. Be bold. Make it interactive and push it back when it's over. Sounds good, Prasanna?
yeah.
Okay. Don't worry, you're doing good. Okay. So guys, how are you liking it till now? Before we go on to the next step, let me.
It's good, really good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay. Vara, all well?
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to move a little ahead. Right. I'm going to share with you one video. Are you okay?
Yeah.
It's a winner of a world contest of speaking. Okay. And it's a classic video. So you'll see it on the screen right now as we speak. And this particular lady has really cracked it well when it comes to speaking. So it's around 5 minutes, and you're going to enjoy it as we speak. Just a minute, opening it up.
Executive Chairman Josephine Lee.
always optimistic. A great entrepreneur
Just a
is
minute. Huh?
optimistic in the future. You have to ask what problem you can solve, how you solve it are different from the others, why you can do better than the others. You have to
Just 1
find
minute.
a group of people working together. Those people believe in the same vision. Those people coming to join you not because it's a job. It's because they believe the mission.
See
And
this
don't
person
have
on the
to
screen?
find, there's no best people in the world. There's the best people. Work with train the team, work with the team, the team also will train you. Not think what I would get. You have to ask what I would give. Should I win in 3 years or 10 years? If you have a great idea, prepare for 10 years. If you like, you win, but most people will not have this opportunity.
Yeah, there we go. Give me a minute while I tackle with this.
Josephine,
So, can you see this man on the screen?
Yeah.
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 Okay, look at him. He's not the person going to speak. So, let me mute all of you. So, just watch this speech, and you'll get a lot of idea of how a person can do an introduction, body, conclusion, pause, flow.
Lee. I will be there. I will be there. Josephine Lee. All the best to you.
I will be there. Those 4 words can help you make a friend. And if you say it enough times and follow through, you will make a lifelong friend. Mr. Contest Chair, potential lifelong friends. Do you have someone that you can always count on? For me, it was Jenna. From grade school to college, she was my best friend. And whatever I needed, she was always there. Jenna, can I have some of your gummy bears? Of course. Jenna, I forgot to bring my lunch. Here, have some of mine. Jenna, do you want to go to McDonald's? How are you always hungry? You just ate twice. Growing up, we talked about college, we talked about the future, and most importantly, we talked about boys. Josephine, when I get married, will you? Jenna, I will be there. Those 4 words cemented our friendship. She was even there at my most embarrassing moments. I was driving one day. This is how I drive. When I noticed this little yellow gas light come on my dashboard. When I first started driving, I thought those warning lights were just suggestions. So I just kept on driving. When all of a sudden, I heard the engine sputter and stop. Should have filled up my gas tank. There's only one person I can count on when I needed help. I called Jenna, and she said, fine. I will be there. Now, what I'm about to tell you is a true story. An Asian and a blonde walked into a gas station. We had no idea what to do, but Jenna's dad said we had to buy a spare canister. So I bought one, and I carried it back to my car. I poured some gas into my tank. I turned the keys, but the engine sputtered and stopped. I tried it again, but the engine still sputtered and stopped. I was about to try a third time when Jenna snatched that canister out of my hand. Josephine, did you put any gas in here? No. Was I supposed to? Didn't you notice that the canister was a little light? Yeah, but I thought that's why they call it gas. I really wish I was making that up. No matter what I needed, Jenna was always there. When we went to college, we shared an apartment together. Woo! Freedom! Said my parents. But then I got busier and busier. Josephine, can you? Not right now. Josephine, can we talk? I don't have time. Josephine, I need you. Jenna, I'm busy. It was Jenna's first time away from her family, and she needed me. But I was never there. In friendships, there are warning lights. But I thought those warning lights were just suggestions. We stopped speaking. A lifelong friendship sputtered and stopped. Is there a relationship in your life about to sputter and stop? How long have you been ignoring the warning lights? It's been nearly 10 years since we've spoken. I found out Jenna got married. I wasn't invited. I wasn't there. Jenna had moved on with her life, but I couldn't. I needed help. And there's only one person I can count on when I needed help. I called Jenna. We went to dinner at McDonald's. I was afraid it would be awkward, but it was as if no time had passed. We laughed and talked about old times. Jenna, do you remember that time I ran out of gas? Yeah. My dad told that story at my wedding. I wasn't at her wedding, but I was a part of it. I was there. There are 4 words that can help you make a friend. If you say enough times and follow through, you will make a lifelong friend. At the end of dinner, Jenna turned to me and said, Josephine, I'm having a birthday party. I was wondering, Jenna, I will be there.
So well, that was a winning speech given by a lady in Singapore. Now, if you noticed, there was an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, of course, very strong. And the stories in between were very, very powerful. Very powerful. Each story was, it was very simple topic, my best friend, which is Jana. But you just see the way she did it. It was one of her topics. My best friend. She started off, with a question, rhetoric. Asking the audience, a question, and then went on to create. So the question was, is there any close friend that any of you have, whatever, anybody you can depend on? For me, it was my best friend Jana, and then went on to the stories, one by one stories, humor, emotion, seriousness, everything, covered everything, in that few stories. And then that story took you into a journey where she also went away, came back, etc. And the end, very powerful. you know the end, very powerful. Again, she ended with the same four words, I will be there. So this was one story that I had on introduction, body, conclusion. So how do you want to take it ahead? What we can do is, you can individually prepare for the coming Thursday, on any of the five topics. And this time, the flow has to be, you have to kind of maintain a good flow, no ahs, no ums. The voice has to kind of, go through, and introduction, body, conclusion, very important, the way the entire flow happens. So that's the thought that I have. I'll just share with you again the very simple topics. We'll take up the more difficult topics later. So you can choose any topic which you have not chosen right now. But this time you have to make a story out of it. You have to really make it sound interesting. So not be a general thing, and then it has to go into a flow, and it has to conclude. Sounds good? So today is Monday. So we can meet again on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Thursday, what time? 2 o'clock?
Yeah, 2 o'clock is good.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. Anyway, all of us are at home, right?
Yeah.
Thanks to you can't suddenly say, "Oh, I have school or college." There's nothing there. So, so the truth is, we're all banked at home. So Thursday at 2 o'clock, and just remember the speech, the way it went, introduction, body, conclusion. Try to get a real good 3 or 4 minute kind of a talk, which will grip the entire audience. Yeah.
Yes.
Any last thoughts, questions, clarifications before we call it a day?
No.
So each person, anything, one thing new. We are there for almost 1 hour. So anything that you learned in the last 1 hour, something new, Pratik?
Yeah, actually, the four things that you mentioned about the vulnerability, authenticity, naturalness, and flexibility. Those were the things, if we keep in mind while speaking, that'll be a great store of what to say, how to say, and what not to say.
Yes.
So that's something I learned today, and hopefully I'll be able to continue it in the future.
Wow. Yes. Lakshmi?
For me, is to stop ands and thus. I
Mm.
observed in my speech that there were many ands and thus, so I have to stop them.
Correct. Correct. Soumya?
Yeah, so today the most important thing, or what I learned today, more specifically I'll focus upon, is the thing that you told us, that thinking should be faster than speaking, than your speech. So this is the thing that I'm going to keep in mind, and before the next time whenever I'm going to speak, I'll keep this in mind, that my thought process is faster than when I speak. I speak fast, and I think my thinking process is slow, I think so. So I'm going to mend upon that. This is what I'm going to do.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Prasanna?
It was a good interactive session. I have to learn to be bold.
Yes. 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 It will come actually. Once you start speaking in front of all of us, you'll become more and more bold, as you go ahead. Okay. So good. So I'll see you on Thursday at 2 p.m. And we'll have another second round. We'll take it to the next level. Okay.
Hmm.
So thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Bye.